Hi there! I recently saw a video made by the amazing Emma Blackery called Music That Changed My Life. And basically she went through a couple of albums that at the time that she had listened to it really helped form her taste in music today. And it just basically was just albums that really changed her life because she loves music. I really liked the concept of that video, but I just didn't feel right doing it about music. I didn't really have the same trail of albums throughout my life that really defined my taste. I'm a pretty eclectic music person, so I just didn't have that. But what I did have was art and artists that have changed my life. Like parts of my life I can point to that were affected by these artists and their amazing art. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do that. The first artist that I can remember her work really affecting me was Pruna. She is one of the founders of Impressionism, and basically I've loved Impressionism ever since I discovered, in my own way, her work. I remember I had to do a project when I was in 5th grade. I had transferred to a new school and I had to basically make up for like a gap in the curriculum. So the teacher was like, okay, how about you do like a biography report on someone that you think is like really amazing and cool. And I was only in 5th grade and I didn't really know anyone or have anyone. So my mom, being a teacher, she's like, okay, well, obviously if my daughter's gonna do a biography about anyone, she's gonna do it about a boss-ass bitch, because of course she is. So my mom took me to the little kids section of the library and she knew I loved art. So basically, she showed me a couple art books and I saw some of Pruna paintings, and it turned out that she was one of the founders of Impressionism and turned out to be really, really interesting. And I ended up falling in love with her art and with Impressionism, and I just thought it was so cool. And that was the first time that I remember just feeling very entranced with someone's body of work. So that definitely changed my life. Another amazing artistic epiphany that I remember having was the sculpture of Diana by August St. Gaudens, the version that is at the top of the stairs at the Philadelphia Museum of Art. I was about 12 years old and my parents had taken me to like museums all the time growing up, but this is like the first time that I remember going to the Philadelphia Museum of Art. Either it had taken me before, I was too little to remember, or this was the first time that they thought that I would appreciate it. So the statue of Diana, it stands at the top of the stairs, and she's just beautiful, and she's holding her bow, and she's completely nude. And I had heard the Greek myth about Diana, and she's the goddess of the moon and the hunt, and she was just, I always thought she was cool. But when I saw her in her full statuesque glory, and she just, oh my god, it blew me away, because I had gone to Catholic school growing up, and I had been taught to be very, very ashamed of my body. Like my body and my sexuality were not things that belonged to me, or that I was taught growing up. I never really felt like being like a beautiful woman could be something to be confident with. And then, so at 12 years old, like that's what I thought. And then I see this gorgeous, like weapon-toting goddess, and just, it blew my tiny mind that like, wow, you could be naked and confident at the same time. And it really stuck with me, and is probably part of why I am a raging feminist bitch, and I love that. So that is definitely some art that changed my life. The labia that changed my life. That is going to be the name of my memoir. Another artist whose work I loved was John William Waterhouse. I remember the first time that I found his work and realized who he was I was way into the Arthurian legends when I was in middle school. I was just one of those people who just like, I just connected with it and bonded with it, and I thought it was amazing. And he had done paintings of like a lot of like knights, and he had done paintings of some myths, and he also did a gorgeous one of the Lady of Shalott. But the more I discovered about him, it was just beautiful, and it harkened back to my love of Impressionism, because a lot of it is like, you can see the brush strokes, and he also just, a lot of it, some of it will go hazy, and he painted like witches, and I just remember I started to influence how I drew and painted based on what I saw in his work. So that definitely changed my life, and my opinion of art is just this one amazing artist. Another artist who I can definitely remember having an impact on me was Victoria Frances. She paints these gorgeous, creepy, gothic paintings, mostly of like vampires and witches, and everything is dark and eerie and there's blood. And I love it because it just was some of the first art that I had seen, like the artist that was just darkly beautiful. I mean, since then I've seen a lot more and I've appreciated, but this is like the first one that I consciously remember going, oh, okay, I know who that artist is, and she has dark and creepy work. Obviously, like now with social media and everything, I've seen a lot more dark and creepy artists who I've come to love, but I remember discovering some of her stuff in high school, and that was just some of the first that I experienced, and I appreciate that. And last but hell no not least, the last artist that I can remember having a very transformative experience when I saw her art and really changed my like views and opinions was Georgia O'Keeffe. Now that should be a surprise to no one, because she was also a boss ass bitch, did anything she wanted, and painted a lot of very vaginal flowers. Who doesn't love vaginal flowers? Like, if you don't, I think you need to readjust your life, because they're awesome. But it wasn't just that, it's just that her life story, she was just so confident and badass, and she was completely unashamed of her art, and she did with her art exactly what she fucking wanted. And what I love about it is, and of course I did this. Those of you who know me, of course I did. In high school, which is when I discovered it, and also was kind of the blossoming into the feminist artiste that you see before, we had to do kind of work inspired by an artist in our class. So we had to pick an artist and make something of our own that was sort of looked like it could blend into their collection. So I did Georgia O'Keeffe, and I did a flower. A flower. You know what I did. And I ended up making this beautiful rose. And what I thought was amazing is I ended up winning second place. And I only won second place because first place, their flower, or whatever they did, it did not look like a gorgeous cunt. And I personally think I should have gotten first place, because you should always put, you know, vaginas should go before everything. But I just love that they were like, okay, this is a really talented picture. She has to get in the top 3, but we can't give first place to a vagina. Like, we can't do it. We can't do it. So that was amazing. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I would love to hear about like stories of other people have about art that changed their life. Please, like, even if it's not paintings or sculptures, just you can do music like Emma Blackery did, or books, or anything you want. Just go in the description, go crazy. Please, I want to hear it. I want to discover new artists, and who knows, I might make another video about how an artist you liked changed my life. Let's do this. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe if that's your thing, and share it to be able to get more art everywhere. Who doesn't want more art and more vaginas? You aren't gonna let these kids play basketball and let them sit anywhere on the bus they want!